Hello, welcome to a brand new video. In this video is going to be a completely new series on my channel. I'm going to be reviewing every single new Doctor Who series. So starting off with series 1, or as I call it, season 27, as continued from New Who, with Christopher Eccleston and Billie Piper, aka the 9th Doctor, and Rose Tyler. So I'm going to go talk about every single episode from the series and what I think of the series and what percentage I actually give this series and where it is in my favourite list. So, the very first episode we had is Rose. It has an introduction to the 9th Doctor. We have the introduction to Rose, and we have the brilliant return of the Autons. And it's such a good episode for the New Who era. It kind of kick-started off by bringing back a classic villain for the classic Doctor Who fans that grew up watching the show. I actually do give this episode a 10 out of 10. It is an amazing episode, Roses. The Nexus Consciousness is underneath the kind of like eye wheel thing in London. Is a bit of an interesting bit, especially to start off the invasion. So, and the chemistry between Nine and Rose at the start is a little bit hazy until when she says, "Oh no, someone's got to stay and look after my boyfriend," and then he comes back and goes, "Oh, by the way, did I mention also travels in time?" And then you see her run into the TARDIS, and it leads into the next episode, which is the End of the World. And the End of the World is set on a space station that's orbiting Earth as it blows up from the sun, and set around about 5 billion years in the future. I think it is something like that, 50 trillion years, something like that. It's a fantastic story. Lady Cassandra is the villain in this story. Robot spiders are introduced. We have the face of Bo, the Mokabazoom. Other alien species like the tree people, aka like Jade, is in the series. And it's just such a fantastic, amazing story for series 1. Series 1 hits it off straight away in the first 2 episodes. Such powerful stuff, and you see Rose like questioning the Doctor, like, "Who are you?" And at the end of the episode, he literally goes, "I'm a Time Lord. I'm the last of the Time Lords. My home burnt like the earth." Such a powerful speech from the Doctor himself. Then going into, which actually I give End of the World a 9 out of 10 as well for brilliantly. Well, Rose is 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10 for End of the World, leading into the Gelf episode, the Unquite Dead, where consequences from the Time War from the Doctor and the Time War between the Time Lords and the Daleks. An alien race ended up coming into extinction and surviving as gas people, known as the Gelf. And this is Eve Myers' very first episode into the Doctor Who universe. As you know, Eve Myers just goes on and plays Gwen Cooper in Torchwood, and she actually has a little role in this story as Gwyneth. So it's a really good story, and this is. I love the Gelf bit, especially where they'll just take over the dead people's bodies. It's such an interesting sort of line, and you see Nine becoming a bit vulnerable, and he goes, I feel I'm trapped in a cage in Earth and I'm about to die." But then you meet Charles Dickens in this one as well. Charles Dickens isn't my favourite kind of author, Roald Dahl is, but it's still a good and powerful story. This one is an 8 out of 10. So, leading into a 2-part, and I have to say this amazing 2-part story is 10 out of 10 for both episodes, and it is Aliens of London and Werewolf 3. It introduces a new alien race called the Savine. It's such a fantastic opportunity. I love the Savine. They fit inside what they do is they go around skinning people and using their deads and using their skin and like to hide the big fat alien creatures inside their bodies. And because they have to shrink down into a human body, the fart they literally do fart is actually kind of a good way. Especially when you got the 9th Doctor going, "Do you mind not farting while I'm trying to save the world?" He goes, "Would you prefer silent but deadly?" I love Aliens of London and Werewolf 3. I love the design for the Savine. They're really tall. I love how they got like 3 claws, and it's just such a fantastic and powerful episode. Especially where the 9th Doctor goes in Werewolf 3. I think you find that the Prime Minister is an alien in disguise. That's not going to work, is it? No. Right, okay. And he just runs off to the left and goes, "If I were you and I was going to execute someone, word of advice, don't stand next to the lift, and he literally goes like that, and he goes like, that's the lift. It's fantastic. I love that episode, especially where he tries to get Mickey to join the TARDIS after. Literally where he just tries to get Mickey to join him and Rose in the TARDIS, and Mickey's like, no, I can't handle that life of yours, Doctor. And then leading into a really another 10 out of 10 episode for this series, which is Dalek, and you see Nine's hatred for the Daleks. In this story, he's only against one Dalek, and that massive powerful speech he does inside the Metaltron's cage is such a powerful speech. And another one where the Dalek escapes and starts killing people while trying to go on the hunt for Rose Tyler, and he goes, if you want orders, give yourself this one: kill yourself. And he like shouts at the Dalek, and that goes, "Shoot would make a good Dalek." It's just such a powerful episode. It really is a powerful episode. Eccleston's portrayal against the Daleks is a fantastic one. And as one of the classic Doctors says himself, Sylvester McCoy, you're not really a proper Doctor until you come across the Daleks. And that was spoken by Sylvester McCoy himself when he was in an interview. I think it was 2003 in the Doctor Who story. It's just such a fantastic episode, Dalek is. Going into the next story, Long Game. How can I say this? You know the Long Game. It's literally you click and the force and the head opens up, shows a part of the brain and the scan. It's not really an interesting episode for me. I don't really particularly like that episode. That's why I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. It's good. It's a good story. It's just it focused more on Adam Mitchell more than anything else. And then the only good thing about this is the Jaggerfest in the high ceiling. That the whole Jaggerfest creature is a whole amazing special effects. That's the only good thing that saves the story from being lower. So the next story is a 6 out of 10, and it's Father's Day. The Doctor takes Rose to go back to meet her father. We have the very first and only appearance of the Reapers. That happens when it happens in a paradox sort of position. The Doctor gets eaten by a Reaper, and then he comes back to life, and Rose's dad kills him, literally runs in front of a car and it brings back the Doctor. And the TARDIS is trapped. Well, the TARDIS kind of vanishes. The Doctor goes to a box and he opens it, and it's literally just a normal police box, not the actual inside of the TARDIS. It is a fantastic sort of story. I do kind of wish the Reapers would return. I do wish to do another paradox over the Reapers, make it a 2-parter. That would deserve such a good episode scoring. Anyway, never mind. So going on to one of the favourite episodes of the series, it is The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances. Now this is another 10 out of 10 episode. The Empty Child is a person with a gas mask going, "Are you my mummy?" Zombie gas mask people coming out of this, like in the hospital bed, waking up going, "Mummy, mummy, mummy." Such a fantastic episode, set in World War II as well. It's such dark and horror and creepy. The Empty Child is such a fantastic. It's not even a villain. It's literally about a kid that gets killed by Captain Jack, really, for putting the Tula ship crashing down on the railway station, and then Nadine's escape and saw this dead human. And instead of bringing him back, they brought him back to life. But the thing is, though, because I've not really seen a human being before, they think the gas mask is permanent, so the gas mask gets stuck onto his face, and then it passes through the human race like some sort of zombie gene, and all the humans become like zombie gas mask people. It's just such a fantastic story, and this is a good introduction story to John Barrowman's character, aka Captain Jack Harkness. It's just such a powerful episode. The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances, they're both 10 out of 10. Such an amazing episode, and they have big consequences with between Jack being a con man and Nine having to go at Jack. It's just such a fantastic story. It literally is, and it's really is. I love the bit where the Doctor goes at the Empty Child, goes, "Excuse me, this might seem like a stupid question. Has something been falling from out of the sky recently?" And then you got the air sirens, and he looks at the poster and he saw like German bombers. He's like, "Of course you have," in his head, because he's landed back in World War II and they're being bombed by the Germans. It's such a good story, and there's a few funny bits in this. I do love. As I said, this episode is a 10 out of 10. So going straight from then the 2-parter, we're going into a 1-parter, which is called Boom Toon. And I have to say this, it is actually a 5 out of 10 again. It's another Savine story, but it features one Savine, Margaret Blaine, and she's trying to open the rift so she can try and escape and go and find her family that the Doctor blew up in, well, another part of the Savine family, because the Savine are a big family. How can I say this? The TARDIS ends up turning Margaret into an egg through looking at the heart of the TARDIS. It's a good story, I have to admit, it's a very good episode, but for me it's 5 out of 10. It's not as good as the Savine 2-parter. It's a good little way to continue it, but I still don't, it's still not very, very higher up. So, what's the next 2 episodes? Well, you got it. Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways, and this is another 10 out of 10 episode for both. The Doctor is pulled into a game station, aka he ends up in Big Brother. Rose ends up in the Weakest Link with an android, the android from, you know, Anne from Weakest Link. They've actually made an android version of her, and Captain Jax ends up in a game with 2 robots who's trying to kill him and chop his head off. It's just such a fantastic... The Doctor breaks the rules. He goes, I'm getting out, I'm going to go and find my friends, and then I'm going to go and find you. It's such a fantastic episode. And then leading into the end, where the whole plot leads into the Daleks' big return. And of course, in this story, we have the return of the Emperor Dalek that was last seen in Doctor Who way back in 1967 in Eve of the Daleks. It's just such a fantastic 2-part episode. You literally got the Doctor trying to get out of the game. He meets a human named Linda Moss, played by Joanna, something like that. It's just such a fantastic, amazing episode. Bad Wolf is literally these 2 episodes. Part of the Ways is another 10 out of 10. The Doctor comes across the Emperor Dalek again. He sends Rose home. Rose ends up looking into the time vortex, running through her head and just burning her up. But she's doing it to try and save the Doctor. She brings Captain Jack back to life. And at the end of the episode, the 9th Doctor ends up regenerating into the 10th Doctor. So, for personal reasons, Series 1 has moved up a lot since rewatching it into 3rd place of my favourites. My first favourite has got to be Series 10. Second favourite is Series 7, and third favourite now is Series 1. It's just such a fantastic series. I love... A lot of these episodes are a 10 out of 10, and they're pretty good, amazing. Christopher Eccleston is my second favourite New Hero Doctor. Because my very first favourite for New Who is actually the 12th Doctor, Peter Capaldi. Eccleston is now second favourite for me. It's such a fantastic thing for Eccleston to do. It's a shame he never got another actual series. He was really, really good as the Doctor. So Series 1, yeah, you guessed it, it's a 10 out of 10. A few episodes they're like a 5 out of 10, or 8 out of 10 and 9 out of 10. But 10 out of 10 ones are mainly in the series, making it into a really, really 10 out of 10 series. It's such an amazing series for Christopher Eccleston to be the 9th Doctor. Billie Piper is amazing as Rose. It's such a shame. Now, I don't really like Series 2 that much, but I'm going to start rewatching Series 2 in a few minutes, so I can do a review on Series 2 later on in a couple of weeks, in a few days. I'm not really looking forward to that. I hate it, Series 2. It's the whole lovey-dovey stuff between 10 and Rose. I don't really like that sort of thing. I don't mind it with River and 11, but with 10 and Rose, nah. So anyway, Series 1 is 10 out of 10. It's an amazing series. Eccleston should have stayed for Series 2. I think it would have been a lot better between Eccleston and Billie for Series 2. Meeting with Cybermen, Sarah Jane. But Series 1, a pretty good, amazing series. And if you haven't seen it, you can actually buy this on Blu-ray like I've got, or you can get them on DVD. You can actually get on DVD now quite a few times. You can get them in volumes, in box sets, the smaller box sets like this one. So I hope you all have a good day, and I'll see you again for another video. I hope you enjoy Series 1 as much as I have.